Meeple Nation Podcast, episode 534. Crowdfunding projects we are excited about, Summer 2024 edition.
Welcome, citizens, to Meeple Nation. Grab your favorite beverage, pull up a chair, warm up those dice, and join us at the game table as we discuss board games and the board gaming world. Each week, the hosts of Meeple Nation share their love for board games and the amazing memories that come from playing games with some very outstanding people. Let us now join our hosts in their natural habitat, the game table.
That did sound exciting.
Good.
Much more than when we were just sitting at the table talking about it. There's a lot of games out there we're excited about. Some we even backed.
Some? A lot.
You guys backed a lot more than me. I did back a handful, but
Yeah.
You mean you quote unquote didn't back a whole
I don't
handful?
back crowdfunding, but
Yeah, that sham's got to end.
I do have a handful that are coming to me for some reason.
Well, I think it's hilarious that you claim that you weren't backing any Kickstarters, yet I follow you on Kickstarter, so I know that's a lie. Yet you continue with this facade by not putting anything in the notes. I've noticed that. You're not fooling us, Nathan. We know you have issues.
Yes, I definitely have some issues.
You may be dealing with your issues better than Doug and I as far as crowdfunding.
But I still have some. They're closet issues,
The
right?
closet issues.
I've
I
cut,
only look at Kickstarter when no one else is around.
I've cut way back. I legitimately have cut way back.
Yeah.
Probably-
Not as much as I have. but
Probably
you still
because
have cut back.
because I have way too many coming down the pipe,
Yeah.
and it's kind of ridiculous actually. So yeah, I had to pull the plug a little bit, and
Pump the brakes
and then there's new stuff coming out just over the hill that I'm like, that accelerator's gonna get hit again real soon.
I was talking to our friend Brian the other day, and his wife was giving him a hard time, and she was like, "How many more $300 games do we got coming?"
Ouch.
Ouch.
It's like the elephants from Kickstarter, unfortunately. That's
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of those, fortunately, but I still have too many.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. Well, the Meeple Nation podcast is sponsored by Game Toppers LLC. We are so excited to have them as a sponsor. They make fantastic product. If you would like to enhance any game and any game night, go check out what they have to offer. You can get mats, you can get toppers that'll go on other tables. They're portable. You can break them down and carry them all over the place with you. And you can get full table solutions with all kinds of accessories to go with them. So please go check them out at GameToppersLLC.com.
We are the hosts of Meeple Nation. I'm Nathan Howard.
I'm Andy Holiday.
And I am so excited that Andy's here tonight.
Yeah, we're going to take you off. If you keep showing up, we're going to be able to take you off the special guest
Oh, yeah.
and make you a regular host again.
Good heavens. Tell you what.
I am Douglas Stewart, and Andy is no longer flirting with the guest host status
Today.
for today, for now.
Let's hope that stays the case.
I love it.
And well, hopefully we'll have you back here for next week's July news,
Yeah, hopefully.
so we can talk about more stuff that we're excited about coming up. But currently, let's talk about us. We are the hosts of Meeple Nation. I'm Nathan. I already said that.
You did.
You need to leave that in. Just so people know what we deal with. That's awesome, Nathan. Yeah, we did that part already.
Yeah, we did.
But we do have a website.
I've slept since then, so I forgot it. We do have a website. Now that you bring that up, Doug, it is all sorts of magic that happens on that website, and you can go check it all out there. On that, you will also find a link to our Patreon page. Our patrons make everything possible. We love our patrons, and we appreciate your support. If you too would like to be a patron, you can check out that link there, or you can go to patreon.com/Meeple_Nation and find us there. We would love your support, and we would love to see you at events. We had SaltCon not too long ago, SaltCon Summer, and we'll talk more about that next week, I'm sure. And we also have SaltCon Ninja Summer coming up in August. So some more gaming coming up, and hopefully we'll see you there. And we would love to see anybody at BGG. At least 2 of the 3 of us are going to be there.
At least. But probably 3 of 3 of us.
Hopefully.
If we can just...
Who's the one that's potentially a question mark?
You.
Okay. I was afraid of that.
Yeah. I have a ticket with your name on it, but...
Well, it's going to happen, so...
Hot dog.
Yeah.
Let's scratch
That's
out.
the kind of
Let's get the
news we
white
like to
out
see
and
here.
remove that question mark.
Love it. You heard it right here. And we heard it for the first time as well.
I'm excited.
Live on the podcast that wasn't really live, that was actually pre-recorded, but this moment is special.
But this moment is special. It's live for us.
It's live for us, and I'm excited. I love it.
Well, on that note, Andy, do you want to talk about some game highlights?
Yeah, so I got to play in prep for SaltCon. I got to play a couple of games that I have. One of them is a Kickstarter that I've recently received, so very appropriate for this episode, and that's Bardwood Grove. And I have actually it's a very unique game. It's kind of a deck builder. I would say
Adjacent for sure. I hate using that word adjacent, but I would classify it as such.
Yeah, I mean, it has a deck building element to it. I guess it's part of the meat of the game, but it is not.
It is. It's an important part,
right? I mean, you're building your deck because you're trying to sing the best song, and you have a rondel, which I don't know how you felt about that, Nathan, but it does have a rondel.
I do enjoy a game with a rondel.
I know you do,
especially when they have a little magnet in it too that holds it right on the board.
Yeah, the components are they're great. The components for this game were awesome. And you're moving around the board, visiting different locations, spending either melody or lyrics to activate certain locations, and trying to sing the most powerful songs because that's how you activate the different locations and pay for stuff. So very thematic as far as bards go. You're playing bards, and there's a ton of different bards to choose from, and they all have an asymmetrical deck and an asymmetrical instrument that has a unique power to it. And I've only played it twice. I've played it once with Doug and my daughter Amara, and then once with Nathan. And so far, I think it's a lot of fun. I want to try, like Nathan, I want to try more of the bards and try some of those the asymmetrical powers. And it has unlockable content. So Nathan, you and I played the version with more unlocked content, whereas Doug and my daughter, we played just the base game. And then there's even more content that we can unlock after the play that you and I had.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what else there is to offer with this game. I can see why there was unlockable content, just because there's a lot going on.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of get that slow trickle of new information.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been fun to play that game. And then the Ancient World, it's a Ryan Lockett game. It's the second edition. When I played a fair bit of that, and I've also had a really good time playing that game.
I did like that game.
Yeah. Bardwood Grove I really liked, and the Ancient World I am really looking forward to.
Yeah, it's great. One more highlight is the epic game of Applejack that we played on Nathan's Thursday night game night.
Was it epic?
I beat my high score. It was epic.
Yeah.
You did. Good job, Andy. You know what? You're going to BGG Con with us this year, so...
Wait, is that what we're talking about, BGG? I thought we were talking about SaltCon. I got roped into this? Oh my gosh, how did that happen?
So I'll let you have that high score. You're just too excited you're going with us this year. So
I thought you guys were talking about SaltCon. What have I gotten myself into?
No, we were definitely talking about BGG Con.
Now I gotta listen harder. My wife tells me I don't listen very well. I just got proof that that's true.
That's awesome. Very, very cool. So the game that I wanted to talk about, it's been a little while, I think, since we have, collectively played Cascadia. In fact, I don't know if we've ever played it just like the three of us or at a game night.
I don't think I've ever played Cascadia.
Really? I thought we had all played it back in the day. So this was a game that was pretty hot like a couple years ago. And my wife and I played it all the time. And I thought I remembered playing it at some of the game nights, but maybe not. Maybe you guys didn't play that one as much as I did. My wife and I played that game a lot when it first came out. I mean, we played it over and over. My wife loved that game. Such a great game. Anyway, a little while back, the Landmarks expansion came out, and it has been sitting on the shelf now for, I don't know, it's definitely slipped into the shelf of shame status because it's been on there for longer than 6 months, but it's been sitting there for a while. So finally dusted it off the other night and, read the rule book, got it all integrated and everything. So we got that to the table, me and my wife, and we really liked it. The Landmarks expansion adds some fun things. I will say, sometimes you play an expansion and you're like, okay, I never want to play this game without it. Or it feels almost essential, or like, okay, they fixed the game with this expansion. I will say I do not believe that is necessarily the case with Landmarks. I really enjoyed it, but I don't think it's an essential expansion. If you enjoy Cascadia in its base form, just play that. I don't know that you necessarily need this expansion. It added a ton more tiles that you can mix in with the base tiles that supposedly added some balance to how the terrains were divvied up on those tiles, the terrains and animal types that you could place there. And it offered some new scoring cards. So all of the animals, all 5 of the animals in the game got some additional scoring cards that can be mixed in. And so that's good. There's some, additional like replayability and variety that it added to the game. The Landmarks module is neat, but basically what it is as soon as you hit like 5 of those terrain types, as soon as you get 5 of them together, I don't know if you guys remember this, it's like the habitats.
Right.
And so if you get 5 of them together, which you're trying to build big habitats in the game anyway. So it's already something you're trying to do. But once you get 5 of them, you have the option to grab a little token, like a little wooden piece, and put it out on the board. And you can grab a card that corresponds with that type. And those cards can just be they can just be straight up points, or they can allow you to combine different habitats for scoring, or they can give you a new scoring condition, like that kind of thing. So it definitely added some new stuff to the game, but I wouldn't say it like totally revamped it in any big, exciting, huge way. It kind of just built off of something that you're already trying to do in the game and gave you a few more options to think about. So if you like variety, if you've played a lot of Cascadia, then maybe this is a good one to add in because it just gives you a bunch more stuff. But anyway, we really did enjoy it. It was good, but not essential.
Now, this is one I'm hoping you're bringing to MonCon, or maybe I'll bring it. And just the base game, because this is something I would love to get my wife to play, because I think she's actually played it once, but I think this is something that she very much enjoys the nature theme. Trails, we play a lot of trails. Earth, I keep trying to get to the table with her. And actually, both of those games I think would be great to play at MonCon.
Yeah, she really liked Parks as well, which is another game that I really like. So yeah, excellent. It definitely is in that vein. But I was excited to get that one to the table.
I have played Cascadia with you and Lydia at Hug a MeepleCon South.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was fun.
So our friend James introduced me to my game. He took it home and he played it. But this was an interesting game called Turing Machine. And Turing Machine is very much a puzzle question where you're using the old computer punch cards, and you're using these punch cards to ask the computer information, and you can ask the question, and as you ask the question, you'll grab the punch cards, line them up, and it'll give you an affirmative or a negative answer. And then you were trying to find the sequence of 3 digits, and you were trying to find the order and place those digits in order and be able to deduce that first. And the more questions you ask the computer, the more that counts against you. So if it comes down to a tie, it's whomever asks the least amount of questions. So be wary of asking too many questions. But each round you can ask 3 questions to the computer, and there's 5 available questions out there. And as you ask these questions, you'll pick up each card and line it up with the 3 digits that you have attempted to provide information. This is really kind of a brain burner game. It can very much be one that is overwhelming to the very linear mind, but if you're open to some intuitiveness, then this game provides quite a challenge and a high amount of replayability that you can use it has some base codes that come with it, and then you just use the app, and the app will give you thousands upon thousands of options to solve. And so it's really fun. But that's Turing Machine.
Yeah.
And it's one that you can play solo, and I can see it being something that is easily enjoyable solo. It does have a BGA implementation I haven't tried. Maybe that's something I could try solo, except for I think if I put a quarter in that slot, then I might be ignoring all my other games.
This is one that I have been a little bit curious about. I mean, it's, I've seen it here and there and people playing it, that kind of thing. Let me ask you a couple questions.
You can ask 3 questions around.
Oh, man. Okay. Question number 1. It says it has a 20-minute playtime. Did you find that to be accurate?
Yeah, actually we did.
Okay.
Yeah. It's only 3 digits that you're trying to solve. And it was 20 minutes. I think it goes 6 rounds, if I'm recalling correctly. It has a set number of rounds that it's going to go. And those rounds actually do go fairly quick. And it is pretty much simultaneous play. The only time you run into anything is if multiple players want to ask the computer the same question. And so you have to wait till they're done. But to mitigate that, you could ask a different question and come back to that same question. And there's a limited number of cards that you can line up. And so if by chance, maybe closer to the end of the game, if you're playing with that maximum player count, that you're going to run into people trying to use the same numbers in the same order. And so you could run into a little bit of issue there that could prolong that. But we played it 2 players and we played it 3 times. The first game was a little bit rough because when you're putting in cards, you have to put certain cards in and to match them up to be able to get the proper solution. And James started on number 1, but then he started putting in cards from number 2 solution. And so when we started coming up with some crazy answers like, well, it can't be this and not that. And so we're like, okay, we made some mistakes. So the first game, scratch that. The second 2 games, both easily under 20 minutes.
Okay, so that's kind of
that was a long
yeah,
answer
that's kind
to
of a
your
pro.
question.
Yeah, that's a pro. I think in my book.
Yeah,
that it plays quick. Now BGG also says that it is best at 1,
and I see that.
So not a lot of player interaction, or what? Like
definitely no player interaction.
No player interaction.
Yeah. The only interaction you're gonna do is, hey, are you done with that card?
Gotcha. So that was question number 2, and then question number 3 is what is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow?
Is it a European or a African swallow?
I don't know that.
I like it.
Very cool. Turing machine.
Yeah, and it was enjoyable, and I think I still want to try it on BGA and see what it's like. So, cool. Yeah, that was good times.
All right, so let's talk about some of the Kickstarters that we are super excited about.
So when I first put this up, I asked the question, are we talking about games that we've already got, or are we talking about games that we're waiting to get? And I think I leaned all of mine towards games that haven't arrived yet. So games I'm excited to come.
Yeah.
Is everybody on that same page?
Yeah. I've got a few that are not. I have a few that I've received but haven't played.
Okay. So that kind of qualify. I mean, I guess I could put Voidfall in that same vein of Kickstarters that have arrived that are on the shelf of shame.
And then I've got some that are announced but have not launched yet.
Okay.
I've got a bunch that are just all over the place.
All right.
But I'll try to refrain from talking about too many.
Yeah, that's going to be tough. We've backed a lot of things as I'm looking at this list. So, and not a lot of crossover. A little bit, but not a lot.
Yeah, I also had a hard time organizing them because when we first created the show notes, we kind of had divided into Kickstarter and GameFound. And then I realized as I was going through stuff, I was like, well, a lot of these games I backed on Kickstarter and then used they used GameFound as their pledge manager.
Yeah.
And so a lot of them were kind of in both places. But
yeah, when we separated those out, I just figured if it's not on Kickstarter, then it must be on GameFound.
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe we should just start by mentioning a few that we have already received that we haven't had a chance to play yet.
That's a good place to start. I like it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to start with Chronicles of Drunagor. And I'm going to try not to be long-winded about these. I'm just going to toss them out there. I'm really excited about this. When the original Chronicles of Drunagor came out, we played through, 5 or 6 scenarios of it. Me and the group I was playing with at the time, we really loved it. We kind of had a hard time keeping that group going. And then about that same time, they announced Apocalypse, and they announced a bunch of changes to some of the mechanisms and content, rulebook, etc., that were supposed to kind of rebalance it and make it just a little more streamlined, which it kind of needed, as fun as it was, because it really was a fun game. It did kind of feel like it needed that. And so we were like, okay, we'll wait for all of the Apocalypse stuff to come out. And now all of that's here, and I really want to play it, and we just haven't had a chance yet. So Chronicles of Drunagor is one I am super stoked to get to the table.
Yeah, we definitely need to play that. The top of my list of games I have not played but have received is Heroes of Might and Magic 3.
And that looks pretty impressive on your shelf.
Yeah.
It's a huge box.
It's massive.
And the video game was fun. And this was one of those, once again, as we've stated many times, it totally could be a nerd tax. But I have read the rules and have since forgotten them. But I have read the rules, and it does look like fun. There's a lot of different game modes you can play. You can do cooperative, you can do competitive. There's a lot going on and a lot of ways to play the game. So I'm hoping that will help with the replayability of it. But you're essentially going around on the map, interacting with different locations, trying to build your armies up, and completing whatever scenario you're doing, because you play through different scenarios. And there's a lot of content. So I'm excited to get this to the table. It's a big game, and it's one that I think will need probably at least a couple of plays to really understand, because like I said, it's a big game, and I would like to try multiple modes and not just the cooperative or the competitive mode, but I'd like to try all of them. It'd be interesting to really dive into this game.
I get that for sure. One that I haven't pulled off the shelf yet, that I already mentioned Voidfall. Really want to get Voidfall to the table.
I do too.
There's also French Quarter Roll and Write, which I got Small City Deluxe Edition. I haven't got the expansion for Small City Deluxe Edition. Still haven't played that. Sagrada Artisan Edition.
Oh, you picked that up.
I did pick that up.
I'm excited about that. Yeah, I want to play that one.
Yeah,
that looks really good.
Like to play that one too. One that going way back that I really want to get to the table too is Solar 175. And this is a sci-fi game for sure. But I've had it for a while now. This is a Euro-style legacy game, and I don't know why we haven't played it. I know why we haven't played it, because we have way too many games.
And reading rule books takes time.
It does take time, yes.
Especially for some of these big, crowdfunding, right? Some of the games we get through crowdfunding are smaller, but a lot of these games are bigger games. They come with bigger rule books. They're a little harder to get to.
Yeah, and then especially anything that has kind of a legacy style to it or campaign style, those tend to be longer, and it's tougher to get them to the table to complete those stories. So
yeah. Speaking of legacy games that I've backed, the one that taunts me every time I pass it on the game shelf is Jurassic World: The Legacy.
I really want to play this one too.
Me too.
Yeah. So this is what I'm talking about. We need to create like a game day, or at one of these conventions, like carve out a day or something like that, where we can play, like that one, as well as the new Ticket to Ride Legacy edition, right? Because some of these games, in order to get them to the table, we need a little bit more of a commitment, like, consistent players from beginning to end. And I don't know, we just need to make it happen.
That's why we need to be more committed to going to Icon.
Yeah, because that was great to play some games at Icon.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. That's a really good point. We do need to be more committed. If we could just get work to get out of the way.
Oh my goodness, no kidding. Besides, I have some of my best gaming memories from Icon.
Andy.
Yep, some great memories and inside jokes were definitely created at Icon.
I had a low moment. Dave lost his marbles.
Yep.
That's fantastic.
All right. Well, the next on my list is an expansion for a game that I already own, and that is Sea of Legends: Vengeance of the Empires.
Yes.
Sea of Legends is a great game.
It is.
And it does not hit the table nearly often as I would like it to.
Yeah, well, especially considering it's like a sea-based pirate game kind of thing. And we need to play that more.
We need to play this more. And it has a great app, the companion app that goes along with it. I know, Doug, that one of your favorite things is you have the nemesis and the lover that you get to pick at the beginning of the game, and you can complete those quests. There's captain's quests that you can complete, gaining crew, upgrading your ship, completing missions, finding rumors, tons of stuff to do in this game. It is a great game, and I'm excited to get this expansion to the table. Once again, it just needs to happen. I've started looking through the rules. My problem is we don't get it to the table after I finish the rules, and then I forget. It's
yeah. I've got a lot of those.
Yeah, way too many.
Rule books read, and I can hold that information for all of about a day.
Yeah,
and then it's like, we missed that window. Guess I got to read the rule book again.
Yep. Exactly. That's the frustrating part. I think that's probably makes me more mad than anything because it's a challenge for me to get through a rule book as it is, and then to get through it and not get to the game. It's like, why did I do this? I wasted all that time.
So frustrating.
Yep, I definitely get that. I'm really excited about Euthia Torment.
I am too.
Yeah, Torment of Resurrection.
Yes.
Looks really good. And I recently just backed the expansion for that. I have to look that up and see what it's called
I
again.
am so glad you have this because it has been tantalizing me. Even though you have it, I want to play it so badly.
Yeah.
And we definitely need to get this to the table.
It's honestly, it's one that I haven't even opened it up yet because I'm just like, you know what? I don't even want to be tempted by it until we get through like Oathsworn and some of those others that we're playing through. But I don't know. I'm not going to be able to keep that shrink wrap on for too much longer before I have to dive into that because it just looks really, really good. I've got a handful of others that they've actually been on the shelf for a while. Some of them have been on the shelf for a while that I just haven't had a chance to read rule books for. I'll just toss them out real quick. I don't know if we want to spend a lot of time talking about them, but Frostpunk is one that I really want to play based on the video game. Looks really good. Just haven't had a chance to actually get it out and play it. Vindication is one I'd really like to play.
That's one I'm looking forward to as well.
Yeah, it looks really, really good. Monster Hunter World, Buru, Deliverance, Oros.
Oros is one I'd really like to try too.
Yeah. And then I have gotten a few to the table. I mean, it's not like I don't play any of these. Seventh Citadel has been really fantastic, and Slay the Spire has been really good. I've enjoyed both of those, and those showed up recently.
Did you get everything for Monster Hunter World?
I got everything from the first wave, and then had run another campaign for a whole bunch more stuff before the first even made it to most people.
Yeah.
And I hate it when companies do that.
I do too. Yeah.
And so on principle alone, I didn't back it, but I'm fearful that we're going to play it and really like it. And then I'm going to be like, darn it, why didn't I get that stuff?
Yeah.
But we'll see. That the verdict's still kind of out on that one. So
yeah, I've got a few more that I also have been on my shelf for a while. Glenmore 2 Chronicles has been on my shelf for quite some time, couple of years.
Yeah, I picked up Glenmore. Actually, I received Glenmore, so I was excited that you got Glenmore too.
I've got Mini Quest Adventures. That's been on my shelf for a while. Dungeon Universalis. That's one I've just recently received. However, it came damaged, so I'm waiting for replacement parts, replacement components for that. And then Sleeping Gods Distant Skies is one that I've received this year.
Yeah, that one's on my shelf too. Yep.
Oh my gosh, I still got to get through the base game and play Distant Skies. Anyway, that's Sleeping Gods has been awesome. The times that we've started the campaign for it, and then obviously as it has been with most of our campaign games, we have not finished. Yeah. And then Mythwind. Mythwind seems like a very unique game. I'm really worried that it's going to be playing house in a board game. So
I still want to try it though. I'm really intrigued by what it has to offer. And I'll be honest, when the Mythwind campaign first ran, the whole thing was kind of this like, hey, it's this campaign that doesn't ever end. You just choose when you want to end. And that sounded kind of cool to me. I was really intrigued by that. It was like, kind of like endless sandbox, and you can keep building and growing and doing all this stuff. And at first I was like, I like that. And I think that's really cool. As I've had a chance to think about it, I almost wonder if an end wouldn't be good.
Right.
Like, no, we know we can finally cross this off the list and move on to the next thing kind of idea.
Well, I guess for me, it wouldn't bother me too much if it didn't end. It would be more of the replayability aspect. You know, I get so far and it's like, okay, I want to try something new, try a different character, try something else. And if it's different, if I get a different experience, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
As long as that experience is enjoyable, right?
That's a really good point. Yep.
I don't know why we even care if it ends, because if it's a campaign story-driven game,
shut up, Nathan.
We're never going to finish it anyway. So
it's right up our alley, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Oh no! Now we've really got to get these games played.
All right, is that everything that we currently own? Are we ready to dive into what we are expecting? What is on the list of?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. There's some
anxious anticipation.
Yep. There's some stuff that I'm hoping shows up on the doorstep sometime in the next few months that I really can't wait for.
Absolutely. Well, the top of my list is Planet Unknown Supermoon.
And this is one that for some reason I totally didn't see on my list, but yeah.
I'm
super excited about this.
I'm ready to own the base game for one.
Yeah.
And I'm super excited for the expansion.
Yeah. I keep wondering if it's time to cull my, my original game, because it's still hot, right? Somebody's going to see it and somebody's going to want a pretty penny for it. But
don't wait too long.
Yeah, I don't want to wait too long, but at the same point, I don't want to be without it either.
Yeah, Yeah, I can see that for sure.
You wouldn't have that problem if you would have just got the expansion and the cover for the Lazy Susan. That was an option.
There was something that I was missing too.
No,
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, really? Just wanted to make sure it fit in the box. And I know it will with the new one.
All right.
I think you've been burned by that scenario too many times not to just go all in.
You're right. Yeah, I had that one sour experience where I went all in, and apparently all in wasn't all in.
Yeah, that's super annoying.
That's terrible.
Go ahead, Doug.
Cthulhu Death May Die, Fear of the Unknown.
Oh, yeah.
I cannot wait. And here's what is so great. Now, we complain about CMON's release model and their Kickstarter exclusive all the time. I stand by all of those complaints. I wish they would stop doing all of the exclusives. However, I was excited for this because when they ran the Fear of the Unknown campaign, they offered a reprint of all of the Kickstarter exclusive stuff from the original.
Yeah, if they at least do that, that at least makes it palatable. Because you still have access to it if you jump into their other Kickstarter. It drives me crazy when it's, nope, that was a one and done thing.
It's all over.
If you want it, you got to pay like $400 for a deck of cards on eBay.
Yeah.
It's just, there's just no way that you're ever going to get that. I'm looking at you, President's expansion for Zombicide.
Yeah. Well, the same thing with Unmatched on the Bruce Lee, right? And that's kind of what ended up, because the completist in me couldn't handle not having Bruce Lee, and Bruce Lee by himself was $350.
Oh my goodness.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's
so it's like
crazy.
I'm selling all of it because I can't have Bruce Lee. Is that kind of...
Well, it was kind of like that, but Doug had it, and
I see.
I just was needing to clean up my shelf some.
Right.
For sure. But I've got all the new stuff, plus all of the stuff that I wasn't able to get at retail coming in, including that massive Cthulhu statue that you actually do use for one of the missions.
For just one.
Maybe, or two. I'm not sure. Even if it's just one, I'm okay with it. It's just too cool to pass up.
It is cool.
So
it is Cthulhu. So
I'm really excited about it.
It is pretty cool. It makes for a good conversation piece down in the game room, right?
Definitely. And one thing I will give CMON, as much as I rag on them for various reasons, they deserve some of the criticism that we throw their way for sure. But one thing I will say is they do fulfill their Kickstarters, and they're usually fairly timely. I mean, you're not waiting for years and years on end for the most part. At least that's been my experience.
And their sculpts are really good. Their miniatures are top notch. They're really, really good.
Yeah. I'd put them right in the same boat with Awakened Realms.
Right.
I would give the edge to Awakened Realms there, but
a little bit.
But yes,
they're close.
They're very good, and you're right, very close.
Well, I don't want to go into too many of mine because mine are my list is far smaller than your guys' list.
I just don't think you went through and looked at all of them.
No, I'm pretty sure I did. I mean, I missed Planet Unknown, but Terminus is one that I'm excited for. You're mapping out your city. You're building trains, subways to try to get resources and can make connections to get people from here to there. The retail version should be coming out pretty soon, but I still haven't received my Kickstarter version, so I'm looking forward to that. So I think Terminus is going to be a fun. Not quite like my Rolling Heights. I mean, I really enjoyed Rolling Heights, but I think Terminus is going to have more of a replayability than Rolling Heights, but yet still have that same kind of fun feel to it.
You didn't think Rolling Heights had a higher replayability?
No, it does, but I find a lot of people, I'm not going to point my finger at Doug, but get really upset that their meeples never land on anything but their back.
Well, it sounds like Doug needs help learning how to toss meeples.
Meeples hit me!
Yeah, it turned into a whole mini game. Like I was holding the box on its side and throwing them in, like I was trying to clash them up against and give them a little extra bump when they roll or whatever. I was trying everything I could, but rolling meeples do hate me.
You got to handle them with love, Doug. Not such aggression.
Is that what it is?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah.
Sure.
No meeple appreciates being slammed into the box.
All right. So my next one that I'm excited about is Tanari's Adventures. I would be even more excited had I done the $900 pledge.
Oh
my goodness.
You and Brian need to
I forgot about that.
Yeah, this is the one with the big dragon, right?
Yeah, a bunch of dragons, and they were pre-painted. It was, phenomenal, right? I couldn't do that.
Amazing.
But
it looked amazing.
It really did look amazing. I did not do the $900 pledge, but I am still really excited to receive the game and play it. And it looks amazing. It's right up my alley, the medieval fantasy themed. And anyway, yeah, it looks great.
Did you tell Greg about this?
No, I should have.
You
Dang
should
it.
have. We should have totally told Greg about this one.
Yeah, he would have bought the $900 and I could have just avoided the whole
Yeah.
thing. Dang it. What were
Why
we thinking?
didn't we?
Darn it. Yeah. So anyway, Tanari's Adventures, that one is going to be awesome. I wish I was independently wealthy so I could have just been like, $900 chump change. Done. But,
Yeah, how would it be for that to be chump change? That's amazing.
Well, you did have like 3 months of mandatory overtime and then short-term project deadlines.
That's true. But that was well after the project closed. It was like 6 months too late. Otherwise, it may have happened.
Yeah, I believe it actually.
Well, I have really high hopes for Lucky Duck
Me too.
this year because I've got a number of games coming in from them that I am very excited about. So the first one that I'm excited about is Into the God's Grave. And my understanding of this is it's kind of their attempt to take like the Destinies with like the app and the map tiles and all that kind of stuff and turn it into more of a dungeon crawl rather than that Destiny storytelling system. And that sounds really exciting to me. And from what I can see so far, the art, the app integration, the minis, everything on this looks really, really good. Super solid, fun, dungeon crawly kind of game. And Lucky Duck, they do a great job. So I have high hopes for that one. The other one that I'm probably way more excited about is The Dark Quarter, which is their New Orleans mystery murder kind of game. And again, I believe that it uses the app and some of those familiar things that Lucky Duck's been developing for a while. But just the storytelling and vibe of that sort of 1980s Louisiana.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, it just sounds like a really, really fun game. So I'm hoping that both of those fulfill this year. Into the God's Grave, I think, is on track, but The Dark Quarter has been delayed more than once, I believe. And so it should be coming around the bend. For a company like Lucky Duck to delay a game, though, leads me to believe that, it wasn't cooked up quite the way they had hoped, not necessarily because of production issues or anything like that, because I don't think they do a very good job with staying on track and with production and art and all that kind of stuff. So if they're delaying a game, it's more than likely because it just wasn't maybe coming out quite the way they wanted.
And if a game's going to get delayed, I would rather get delayed for that so that they make sure you're going to have a good experience and the game's not terrible.
Me too.
Rather than just having it being production issues or you have it sitting on a ship somewhere in the South China Sea for 5 months.
I agree. Yep.
Well, I'm excited to own my very, very, very first chip theory game.
Hey, you must be referring to the Elder Scrolls.
I am.
Nice.
I know you backed that as well, Doug.
Yeah, I've got to have that one.
And I'm excited. I hope it's going to be awesome.
Betrayal of the Second Era.
Yes. And I loved the Elder Scrolls 5 board game, the Skyrim board game that came out. We've had a ton of fun with that. We played that at SaltCon or at BryceCon. I've played it with my kids. It's been a ton of fun. So I'm excited for this. The theme strikes home with me. I love the Elder Scrolls game. Skyrim is my favorite video game of all time. So yeah, this one I'm excited for. I hope it's going to be good. I hope, once again, totally could be a nerd tax.
Yeah.
Hoping it's not.
Chip
but it's
Theory does a pretty good job.
I was going to say, if it's Chip Theory,
they do.
so my hopes and expectations are kind of high on this one.
Yeah. Yeah, I had Cloudspire, and I liked Cloudspire, but its replayability for our group just wasn't there, so it went the way of the dodo. Too Many Bones looks really cool.
Too Many Bones looks way cool. I want to try it.
Yeah.
You own that, don't you, Doug?
I've got all of that. So we
Yeah.
definitely just need to play it.
For sure, yeah, that looks
Great.
way
It is
cool.
really, really cool game. I'm excited about Thunder Road Vendetta. When they ran the expansion for that, I got like the Ultimate Chrome Edition with everything included.
great.
And so I've heard nothing but good things about that game, but I still haven't played it yet.
I have the retail version,
Yeah, the ho-hum drum version.
the version full of regret.
The
Tastes
one-
like regret.
Yeah, the one you're going to call after you play my really nice
Probably.
deluxe edition.
Yep.
Yep. So I'm very much looking forward to that one. And then Bear Mountain Camping Adventure.
This one I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
This is one that when you originally talked about it and the news way back when, I really, really wanted to back, but since I don't back crowdfunding.
Right.
But yeah, I'm really excited about that one.
And most of my, well, maybe not most of them, but a lot of my Kickstarter games that I back are surprise campaign games.
Yeah.
And
that we're never going to get to.
No surprise.
Hey, you watch your mouth, sir. The Hunters AD 1492.
That does look pretty cool.
It looks awesome. So it's a campaign game, cooperative campaign game. I like the fact that each quest that you play, it plays in about 30 to 60 minutes. So it's going to be, I'm hoping it's going to be quick. Maybe it makes it a little easier to get through it because it's not going to be an all-night endeavor to get through a campaign. Okay, well, everybody else, you're outcasts, you're on the other table, we're playing this campaign game. I'm hoping that it's going to be, all right, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, we're going to hurry and play this, and then we still split up and involve everybody else in whatever else is going on at game night. But this looks awesome. There's upgrading your characters. There's lots of stories, difficult decisions to make, and who doesn't want to be monster hunters? Trying to fight monsters and hunt them down. That sounds awesome.
And the cool little cardboard pop-up houses look pretty cool too.
Yeah, it really does.
This one looks great, Andy. I'm glad you backed this. That does look really fun.
Yeah, the table presence is really cool. So I'm excited for it.
So I only have 3 that are actually expected this year. My other ones, everything else on my list is expected 2025. And 2 of the 3 that are coming are reprints or updated versions of games that are currently out. And that is Cities of Venus and Cyclades, the Legendary Edition. And so both of these are reprinted editions. So the game's out there. I haven't played either of them. I have Cyclades. I have everything that goes with Cyclades. That was one of those games that was gifted to me. And I read through the rules for the base game once, and then no one wanted to play. Because that's exactly it.
Full stop. That story was over right there.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that's one that I would still like to get back to the rule book and read again and get that played, because I'd like to play the original version before I play the upgraded version. But both of those I'm pretty excited about, and to get them to the table. And so Cyclades, and they're both at least Cyclades. I haven't read the rules for Cities of Venus, but Cyclades seems like it's pretty easy path to entry on that too. And then it has a lot of expansion content that's there. That's all going to be included in this Legendary Edition. So
yeah, that's awesome. And my understanding is Cyclades or Cyclades or however you say it.
Tomato.
Yeah. My understanding is it's pretty highly regarded.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people out there who really like it and still play it like a lot. So yeah. I'm excited you're getting that edition. We'll be able to play that.
Yep.
Very fun. A couple over on GameFound that I have backed that I'm looking forward to. Ascendancy, which is kind of a fantasy themed 4X game that I cannot wait to play.
Yeah, it looks really good too.
Yep. And the Isofarian Guard is one that I'm very excited for, as well as, and this is one that I think I'm more excited for this than a lot of them, just because of the technology and the maybe the gimmicky nature of it that I'm really hoping pays off. But this is Vampire the Masquerade Milan Uprising, but specifically this is with Taburu. This is the new Taburu system game. Oh, so really? I backed the Taburu system and some extra stuff for that, and then just did now with the system they released, Vampire the Masquerade, and you could back hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars of extra stuff, expansions and all that kind of stuff for Vampire the Masquerade, the game. I did not. I just stuck with the base game and the Taburu system because I'm mostly just really curious about how this system is going to work and if it will work. And if it's successful, then, some of those Taburu games might be something that I'll chase down in the future.
So what exactly is the Taburu system? That's something new to me that I've missed.
Okay, so I think we have talked about it before, but the Taburu system is like it's the digital mat that you lay down on the table.
Okay, yes.
And then you put all the components and stuff on top of it, and it will read through RFID chips in the different components. So it'll read like dice rolls, character movements, places on the board, all that kind of stuff. Like it kind of helps track all of that stuff. So not only that, but it integrates with apps. like so it'll integrate with like the app. But from what I understand, the Milan Uprising, like the Taburu game kind of creates like an instance of the game, and then everybody can sort of log into that from their own device if they have the app on their device. So you have some information that's secret that the app is revealing to you, and then the game is tracking everything to make sure that there's no like, cheating and that everything's being done in the right way out on the table.
Yeah, that's nice.
Thank you, Skylanders, for making this possible.
Yes.
Because that's what that reminds me of.
Yeah, you're not wrong at all. Now, one of the things that I'm really excited about is supposedly the whole system is supposed to come. It's supposed to come kind of built in with a way to kind of teach the game to everybody. So the idea is you can lay everything out, have everybody fire up the app, get it all ready, get everything set up, and then the game will walk you through how to play. And that is something I'm super excited about too, if it's done well. Again, it could be a total flop, which is why I didn't back all of the stuff. Yeah. I just got the basic Taburu stuff and the game to go with it.
All right. Well, that one sounds exciting, Doug. I'm excited to try it. I'm glad that you backed that. I was looking at that as well. I had it. I was following it, and then I just couldn't. There were too many other things that I wanted, and
there's always too many things. I definitely get that.
That one unfortunately didn't make the cut, but I do have a game that is supposed to be fulfilling, I think, within the next month or maybe July. And that is right up along the lines of Catapult Feud. But this is the one I played when I was a kid that they are redoing, and that is Crossbows and Catapults.
So this is different. This is similar but different.
Similar but different. And I'm excited for this one because we spent a lot of time playing this as kids. So Crossbows and Catapults, Catapult Feud is one that gets played fairly often at my house. The boys will pull that out, and it's one that hits the table far more often than a lot of other games do.
Yeah, I have a copy of all that stuff, and I am yet to break the seal on any of it.
What, it's still in shrink?
Yeah.
That's surprising.
It's right over there.
Yeah, in shrink.
Oh, sure enough. It's got the nice shine on it right there.
Well, maybe you need to break that out, and you and Ashley can have a castle battle and try to knock each other's guys over.
She's got to be home for me to do that.
Well, maybe that's a good reason for her to be home.
I agree. I have several reasons for her to Star Wars the Deck Builder.
I am very excited about that. My boys are going to love it, and we'll see how it compares, honestly, to Catapult Feud. And I'm hoping it's not one of those that, you love a game when you're a kid and you get a modern copy of it and you're like, oh, I remember that being a lot more fun.
Yeah.
Hero Quest.
They play on our nostalgia.
They do, and it's not fair.
Well, it's fair. We're just stupid.
Suckers.
Definitely. Well, I've got a list of some games, and I don't know if you're ready to move on or not, but I've kind of created like a third tier list of games of stuff that I'm not expecting it anytime soon. It's more of the recently backed stuff that, probably won't be out for a while, but I'm still really excited about it. It's still stuff that I'm super stoked about. Final Girls Series 3. I have been loving the Final Girl series. In fact, I finally finished playing through all the scenarios and unlocking all the stuff for the first box. And now I need to start in on the Series 2 stuff. And so hopefully by the time I'm done with that, the Series 3 will show up.
Nice.
So that's a really fun game. And I do know that the single player only thing is, that scares a lot of people away, but it is just such a great game. Great system.
Yeah, I just don't get single player games to the table. It just doesn't happen.
I get that.
Yeah. If I'm going to do anything alone at the table, it's read rule books.
I should do more of that.
Yeah.
So and then I play Final Girl, and then I realized that nope. It's
I'm
way
still
funner.
winning.
It's way funner.
So Nathan, I noticed you and I have a common game on our list.
Yeah, the last one that should be fulfilling this year, 2024, and that's Stellar Drift Poland Right.
Yeah, it looks fun. I think it looks great.
I like it, yeah. I like it. I haven't played it yet. I'm looking forward to it, though. I love roll and write games as long as they're done well. Always makes me think that we need to get Twilight Inscription to the table again.
For sure.
That's something we need to take to MonCon, too.
Okay, so what's up with the pull and write thing?
You're pulling from a bag. You're pulling cubes from a bag, and then that will dictate where you place it. Well, depending on where you place it will determine what you get to cross off on your ship.
Gotcha.
And the ships are all different. So you get a unique ship. And anyway, yeah, it looks really cool.
Yep.
I'm getting to the point where I really, really like the rolling rights and flipping rights and drafting rights. And I thoroughly enjoy them. If there's something along that genre, I used to turn my nose up at it. I'm all in now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've gotten good at making them.
They have.
There
They
were
really have.
some really highly successful ones for a while, and then it seemed like everybody created a ton of just like copycat. They all kind of did a lot of the same things. Not that they were bad, but they were all, I felt like, kind of mediocre.
Yeah.
And then just in I feel like the last year there has been maybe a little bit longer than that, because Twilight Inscription was out longer than a year ago. But it's been more recent that there's been this explosion of what I would call really good draft and write, roll and write, flip and write style games.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I'm excited for that one. All right, I'm probably not going to hit everything on my list because there is a lot.
Yes, there is.
But I'm excited for, this is one that I've recently backed, and that's The Sixth Realm. This is a heavier game. It's a 3.88, but it's a Euro style game, and it looks like there is just a ton going on. Everybody has their unique player board they're going to be interacting with. You have a main board that you're doing actions on. It's one I think my cousin Richie's going to really like because that's right up his alley. Looks like it's going to be kind of an epic Euro style game. I haven't picked up a Euro style game in a while. So this looks like it might be a good one to add to my collection. So hence the reason I backed it.
I was just looking at this one earlier today, Andy.
Oh, you were?
I really was. And it looked awesome.
It does look really good.
And so I'm super glad you backed it, because that means I don't have to.
You don't have to.
That's wonderful. I love hearing things like, man, this podcast, this episode has just been loaded with great news for me. I love it. I've been excited about a few more. I've got like Spiritfire, which is kind of a really unique storytelling and exploration game from looking game anyway, from Orange Nebula. I'm of course very excited about Deceased, the DC version of Zombicide.
Me too.
And then like a handful of others. There's Storm Raiders, Etherstone, and of course Horror on the Orient Express, which won't be out till next year sometime.
Yeah. I think is that one that, did you back that one too, Andy?
Which one?
Horror on the Orient Express?
I did not.
Huh. I know I did. So that was...
You did not back that one?
Yeah.
You definitely backed that one.
Yeah, I definitely backed that one.
Yeah, it looks really good.
really, really good.
I hope it'll live up to the hype.
Yeah. And just kind of, I didn't add on my list, but the Earth Abundance, which... adding those upgraded pieces, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And Andy, another one that we have on our list, crossover, I don't know if Doug has it on his either, but Square One.
Project L Square One.
Yeah. That looks really good too. I really love Project L.
I knew both of you were backing it, so I passed on it, but I really like Project L. It's great.
Yeah. And then I did back Flashpoint Legacy of Flame, which is a continuous story of Flashpoint, which is not to be confused with The Flash, but Fire Flashpoint.
Gotcha. Okay.
Sirens.
Yeah, I don't know much about that one. I actually think maybe a Flashpoint might be more exciting for me, but
actually no, the Flashpoint games are really pretty good.
Are they?
I do have I have the base game over there that we should get to the table. It's a fairly simple but yet fulfilling game, and so I'm looking forward to this Flashpoint Legacy of Flame.
Very nice.
And I also have my Fox Experiment Deluxe Edition, which is a re-release.
Yeah,
with the upgraded wood components and 5-6 player expansion with upgraded wood components.
That's the new one from Elizabeth Hargrave, right? I think she was the designer, the Wingspan designer, Elizabeth Hargrave. I'm pretty sure she did that one, and I have wanted to play that one, so I'm excited that you're...
Don't mention Wingspan to Nathan. He's not going to want to play it.
Oh, yeah. Now he's not going to want to play it. I mean, I'm sorry, Nathan. It has nothing to do with Wingspan at all. There's no ties.
Or Mariposa.
Or Mariposas.
Mariposa. Ugh. No, but she is, Elizabeth Hargrave is on there along with Jeff Frazier as designers for this.
Awesome. No, that'll be good. I'm excited for it.
On my list of games that I'm most excited for is one that has not actually launched yet. It's supposed to launch later this year in Q4.
And that's the whole fear of missing out, right? That's what makes it so exciting.
No, it's not even that. It's just the game looks amazing.
All right, what is it?
It's called Story of Many. It's a campaign game.
The pirate one?
No, it's a campaign game, but it is... one of my favorite things about campaign games is the fact that you get to develop your character, right? The skill tree on this is insane. So there's just different nodes, and you can follow the nodes as you're going up and like cross over into other class skills and make a completely unique character as you're going through the story. And I'm really excited about it. It's going to be amazing. So that's Story Mini. I think it's November, I think is when it's supposed to launch. I can't remember exactly when, but
does
I
this
think it
have
is
a
Q4.
companion app?
Yes.
Because some of these screenshots I'm seeing show like, I guess you can manage your skill tree from the app. Is that correct?
That could be. I don't know. They don't have a lot of information out about it. I've seen some screenshots on Facebook of the actual skill trees, and they look awesome. Very involved, like total customization of your characters on what you want them to do. And I'm imagining that you can probably get a ton of different really cool combos and synergies just with the nature of how you're leveling up your characters.
Yeah, this does look really cool. I remember you talking about this a while back and being excited about it.
Hasn't even launched yet, but it has two ratings. It's already in a 9.0.
That's what I was totally going to say. Yeah, it's got a great rating of 2.0 or 9.0, but that's two people.
Yeah, 2 people, and it hasn't launched yet.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Oh, you gotta love people. The internet's a fun place.
Yeah, why does that game with 2 ratings show up as a rating, and other games they'll have like 20 ratings, but yet BGG hasn't given it a rating?
Yeah, and I don't know, because their algorithm is supposed to kick out early ratings, especially if the game hasn't launched yet. It's supposed to kick them out or hold them back until they can be added to like the larger.
Well, I don't think it should allow it at all. If the game's hasn't even launched on Kickstarter
I agree.
yet, it should be. One thing that does worry me about this, and also makes me really excited, is the fact that there are 200 unique enemies, and it looks like it's going to be miniatures. So I'm excited about that. I'm not excited about the price tag that's probably going to come.
You have all that overtime now. This is your $900 game now.
Start saving now.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing that they could do is create different like versions, right? Like the same mini is used for multiple of those enemies. Like they say 200 enemies, but it's really, there's like 5 different versions of one. Like you have
Descent does that.
The regular warrior, the amazing warrior, the totally
warrior.
The ultimate BA warrior.
The problem with that is what happens
God tier warrior
when you want to paint them and make them match what is shown, and then you don't have enough miniatures.
You buy 5 copies of the game.
Maybe I need to have Nathan buy this. That's such a Nathan thing.
No. Have we learned nothing? Just mention it to Greg.
Oh, that's right.
He'll be all over it.
Good point, Doug. Good point.
All right.
Put that to the test with this one.
Actually, we really
Greg,
should.
Have you seen this?
Yeah, we should, actually. Okay, we've talked about a lot. I'm excited about all of these things. I hope that we can get them to the table. We do eventually get a lot of our games to the table. I mean, I feel like sometimes we get going down this path and we make it sound like we never get the games played, but we play a lot of games. We play hundreds and hundreds of games every year. And so we'll definitely get a lot of these played. I'm very excited for what the future holds. These are a lot of really exciting titles. I was going to throw just one last one out before we wrap up. And I was hesitant to put it on the list just because CMON has entered into kind of this new agreement thing with GameFound, where they're using GameFound as, not just a platform to crowdfund, but as a platform to pre-order. And the first game that they did that with was a game called The Dead Keep, which is sort of a fantasy themed version of Zombicide. And I did back it because it looks really amazing. And I like the art and I like the production and everything else that went into it. But I also backed it because it was a pre-order. It was a set price. And there wasn't all of the crowdfunding creep, where you start, you start by backing the game at like, $50. And then by the time all the add-ons come out, you're $400 deep if you want everything.
Yep.
And this wasn't that at all. This was just, it's a pre-order. This is the product. This is what it is. And if you want it, you just pay for it. And then we'll make it and ship it to you.
Yeah. That's when I got my Big Trouble in Little China was that way. And I thought that was phenomenal. I was super excited that it was just boom, got a nice deluxe edition.
Yeah. I'm actually hoping that companies will do more of that because crowdfunding is a great way to, it's a great way to pre-order games, right? If you are the publisher of the game and you're kind of taking a risk, you don't know how many to make, and it's a huge financial investment. You kind of need to get a player count on some of those things. But I will say some of these campaigns have gotten so big and bloated and kind of out of control with all the extra things and all that. It would be way nice if more companies would just say, no, this is the game. This is the ideal state that it exists in. We don't need to have a bunch of unplay tested bonuses and stretch goals and all these other things. And then if people want it, they can use the platform to pre-order it. And then we know exactly how many we need to order and put on a boat to come across the ocean. And I like that. I hope that we will see more of that.
Yeah, because I'd echo that completely. And that's probably my biggest reason why I've backed off a lot of the Kickstarters is because there is...
It's the bloat. It's the Kickstarter bloat.
Yeah. And I and I already mentioned I backed a game that was all in, and then it didn't even include the base game. So it was like all the extra all in. So I'm like, great, what do I do with all this all in stuff? And I don't even have a base game.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that it's just kind of all that verbiage they use to say, oh, this is going to be this. But you have to add it all in. I just love the idea that if I can go somewhere and say, boom, I want this. And even Kickstarter exclusives. I don't like Kickstarter exclusives either, because if something is cool and you want it.
Yeah.
I mean, I totally understand and respect giving early access. I mean, we talk about Tiny Turbo Cars, Shake That City, some of those that had early access that you got, and Andy, you backed it and I wanted it. And eventually I was able to get it. Right.
Yeah.
And, but I get the whole, hey, let's get people to get a game. And then you have the pre-orders, and you have the pre-orders that you can kind of gauge those too. Because if a game becomes evergreen for you, you can pre-order. You just need to deal with production. You have all the stuff created. And I mean, I look at even Firefly, the 10-year anniversary of Firefly, and even some of these games that I talk about, Cyclades, Cities of Venus, all of these where, a game's been out and, hey, we're going to do version 2. We fixed up a couple of bugs, or maybe we're just doing a reprint and get all that stuff. You talked about the Cthulhu May Die, another prime example of being able to get in when you first missed it. And you get a sample of a game later and you're like, oh man, because I always talk about my regret of I should have backed that. Talked about Oceans a while ago, talked about, I had a copy of the Fox Experiment, but I'm going to cull that to get the deluxe edition because, yes, I do have some issues. I mean, I just think if we could just get it all in one place to begin with, I get why the Kickstarter's there, right? Because companies, you mentioned, companies need to gauge what their success is. There's not a huge profit margin in games, and so it's very difficult for companies to not go under.
But a lot of companies, it's a little bit of a cautionary tale because a lot of them like overpromise with the stretch goals.
Yeah.
Because, you think like you see that number keep climbing and climbing and climbing, but that is all more stuff that the company has to make and produce.
Yeah.
Right. And so just because the number climbs really high doesn't mean that the company's making a ton of money.
Yep.
If their margin on it's bad, then it's bad, whether it's $100,000 bad or $5 million bad, it's still bad.
Yeah.
And so I like the pre-order thing. This hit home probably the strongest for me when Bloodborne came out. I remember seeing pictures of people were posting online, and it was like stacks of boxes taller than the people.
Yeah.
I mean, just these massive, massive boxes stacked on top of each other. And it's like, no one's going to play all that stuff.
Yep.
No one's going to play all that. But it was kind of a game that thematically and gameplay wise, I was a little interested in. But the only thing you could buy was the little, I think they did have a retail release of it. I think you can go buy a retail copy, but how nice would it have been if they had condensed all of the best parts of that big stack of boxes into 1 or 2 boxes and just said, this is the experience. This is what you get. We know our margins are going to be good on it because we already know what it's going to cost to produce it.
Yep.
This is what it costs. And we'll just take pre-orders for it. I would have been in on something like that.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest, I am being turned off more and more and more and more by these big campaigns that have a ton of bloat. I kind of am over them. Like I don't know that I want a lot more of those. In fact, they've started to bother me quite a bit, actually.
Yeah. No, you're right. But there's still some of those that are the temptation's too great, right? You're like, oh.
And you start seeing the minis, and you start seeing them, you're like, oh,
that makes my inside so happy.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that we could finish our episode on what we're excited about on a high note. And
wait a minute. I'm sensing some sarcasm.
No, this has been a good discussion, and there are definitely some issues with Kickstarter. And
oh yeah.
Yeah.
But
There's some rewards too.
It is very exciting when that box
100%.
shows up at your house.
Oh, it is exciting.
Absolutely.
And let's take a moment to appreciate Kickstarter. I mean, you're right, Andy, because that was a little bit of a downer note, but let's just recognize here really quick that we have so many amazing, fantastic, incredible games sitting on our shelves that would not at all have been possible had it not been for crowdfunding of some sort.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. And so, no, it like overall, it's definitely a net positive. But I think it needs to evolve.
For sure. And I think that, there are companies out there, Mythic Games, for example, that whole fiasco of just companies not doing well by their backers.
Oh, now you're really bringing us down.
But yeah, well, then that's the downside, right? That's the risk you run. But
yeah,
I think I've only had one game that who knows if it'll get back. Supposedly Simon's going to pick up. I think it's Simon that's supposed to pick up Hell.
Yeah, Hell the Lost Saga. And that was the one, I think it burned both of us, right?
Yeah,
that's the one. I haven't had too many, I haven't had any experiences with stuff not fulfilling, but that one, we might get like a copy of something from Simon in the future at some point.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's just money down the river.
Pretty much. And, that's the risk you run. And yet I find myself not doing a whole lot of research on companies and history and everything else. And I really should do more of that instead of being so trusting. That looks awesome. I'm going to do it.
I'm doing more of that now.
Well, eye candy draws us in, right?
For sure.
Yep. And then they pull the string and the box falls on top of us.
Whether it's a good game or not, that happens, right?
Yeah.
But, it's when you get that shipping notification, it just really makes you excited to open that box and see what's showing up on your front porch.
Yeah, that almost makes me take a day off work and sit at the front door.
I know, right? Where's it at? I think I'm working from home today because I've got a game coming.
It's so true. And Kickstarter junkies out there know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. I think that we have some awesome games coming, exciting games coming, and a lot more that we didn't talk about that I know that we're excited about.
I talked about all mine. I don't know what you guys got an issue with.
I didn't even talk about half of mine.
I know.
I think I at least mentioned about 75% of mine.
Lucky.
I think Nathan still has more. I just think he's being coy.
I think you're right.
Pretty sure all of mine are on there.
Quote unquote, forgot to add to the list.
The only one that I didn't add was a non-game one, a sleep dot thing that's supposed to help you sleep better.
Oh, nice. I hope it works for you, Nathan.
Very cool.
Thanks.
I put a non-game one on my list. It is game. It's 3D print files where you can print cities and tiles and different terrain pieces and
nice.
Oh, I did forget. It's not a game, but it's a game related. It's my board game butler. That's little clips that you can put on the edge of your boards to keep your boards flat and keep your boards together.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. It was actually supposed to be your guys' Christmas presents last year, but
spoiler.
So they never came, and I mean they're not done yet.
Did Dave's D&D dice ice?
The ice dice? He never made it, as far as I know.
I think he did. They're just sitting in his freezer. He never brings them to game night. He never comes to game night now.
Yeah.
So
I need to go borrow those from him. We need to make some ice dice, some dice ice.
We should make some
dice.
Make a bunch for MonCon.
Oh, there you go.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
Perfect. Definitely.
Except for they're not going to survive the 7-hour drive.
Well, no, we'll take the trays up and then just make it up there, right?
We could. Or we could just dry ice it. It'd last for 7 hours if you do it, pack it right. So that'd be cool.
We should do that.
Totally.
There's some fun things on crowdfunding. It is fun.
There are, yeah.
And on that note, until next time.
We'll see you clicking those keys as fast as you can and clearing that history, because I don't back Kickstarters.
Is that how it works? Okay.
So if I just clear the history,
it didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
Yeah, no, you're free.
Even though my wallet would disagree.
That doesn't matter.
Oh,
you just ignore that.
Seriously?
American dream.
The American
This
dream.
episode really is full of so much good news.
Wow.
I can't wait to go home and tell my wife.
Yeah. That doesn't matter.
That kind of backfires on you.
Thank you for listening and being a part of Meeple Nation. If you would be so kind as to follow, subscribe, share, and rate or review this podcast, it really helps to spread the fun. You can be more involved in supporting the podcast by joining the nation at patreon.com/MeepleNation, or you can find a link at the top of our webpage, meeplenation.com. And while you're there, look at all our extra content. There are links to all our past episodes, a wide variety of blogs, pictures from our Instagram feed, and bios for all the hosts and our awesome bloggers. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all under Meeple Nation. If you would like to chat with the hosts or other members of the nation, you can join our Facebook group, Meeple Nation Off Air. We hope to see you again at a game night, a con, or maybe a suspense-driven evening of Werewolf. Thank you for listening and supporting Meeple Nation, and stay tuned for next week's episode.
Thank you so much for listening. We very much want to thank our patrons who help keep the podcast running. I personally want to thank my co-hosts for all the help they provide with both content here on the podcast, in addition to what we have available on our website. Without them, the podcast would not happen. If you too would like to support the podcast, you can join the nation at patreon.com/Meeple_nation. Or you can find a link to Patreon at the top of our webpage, meeplenation.com. If you have any questions, comments, or games you feel should be on our radar, you can always reach us at meeplenation@gmail.com. We can't wait to hear from you. I am grateful to Doug and Andy who helped me edit episodes, and I want to thank James and Kim Clark who do the editing on our blogs and on our webpage, which can be found at meeplenation.com. We want to thank Brain Detergent for our music. If you want to find more from him, you can follow his links that can be found on our webpage, or simply search for Brain Detergent on YouTube to find more of his tracks. Thank you again for listening and being part of the Meeple Nation community.